Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Liv's Thoughts. I am currently working right now. It is 5:40 a.m. I'm dropping off bagels, but I can't get into the place that I need to get into until 6 a.m. So we're just kind of hanging out and sitting around until 6 a.m. But I want to talk about Christianity again. Of course I do, because this is just a hyperfixation of a topic for me that I love to talk about, love to dissect. And I'm also currently reading God is Dead and We Have Killed Him by Friedrich Nietzsche. It is very interesting and has made me think about a plethora of things. But the biggest thing that I have been thinking about, I even made a TikTok video about it, was this idea of like, would you be doing it if God didn't exist? Would you be loving the way you love if God didn't exist? And really put a new perspective in my brain of religion and giving people an ulterior motive to be a good person, a loving person, a kind person, whatever it may be. And thank goodness the book that I'm reading right now did mention this a little bit, because the first half of the book is pretty much just critiques of religion. Highly recommend. Excuse me. Highly recommend reading this book. Like 10 out of 10. So good. So just like, it's one of those books you read 3 pages and then you sit and think about what you just read for damn near an hour. So good. But yeah, I've really been having this thought recently of like being a good person because you want to please God and get into heaven and selfishly be able to save the rest of your eternity. But I've been doing a lot of like thinking about blasphemy, how blasphemy is like the one sin that can never be forgiven. All other sins can be forgiven. And it's interesting to me that you can kind of just be whatever type of person you want to be as long as you're not committing blasphemy and still get into heaven, but also have this fear kind of based reason for being a good person because you're scared of God's judgment. You don't want to go to hell for eternity, like all these things. And I think Charlie Kirk's death really made me think about this, because I was like, that man is not getting into heaven. I think that another video I want to make soon, but I've not done enough research and I'm still learning on it. American Christianity versus old European Eurocentric Christianity. 2 very different things. And I think that American Christianity doesn't necessarily like, what's the word I'm looking for? Bow down. What's the word? Not devotion, but like whites. Not. Oh my gosh, what am I trying to say? Come on, Olivia, spit it out. You can do it. You can do it. White nationalism is something that they prioritize, and not devout. What is the word I'm looking for? God damn, I can't think of it. But like, that is a huge part of American Christianity, is this like white superiority, supremacy, and thing that is super important and ingrained within Christianity in America, at least. I think that there are 2 different types of Christianity happening in America right now, and one of them has been politicized, and also just so it's like that idea, genetic fallacy or concept creep, where the idea of what it once was has stretched, the definition of it has stretched so far that it is no longer this thing that we think it is anymore. And I think that these are really important conversations to be having around religion. I think that if we just keep dismissing it as, well, it's just people's religion, then things are going to continue to get twisted, skewed. And I get that that's the point, is to be adaptable for the time, but it's not being adaptable. It is like falling victim to the culture we have created and becoming something different. And so that's why I think I'm like super hyper fixated on talking about it, is like, I find it so fascinating. And also just like these people, especially being in Austin, Christianity is a really big thing here. And especially within the young people, like Austin isn't as liberal as the older people are, definitely liberal here, but the younger crowd that is in Austin is very conservative, very Christian conservative, very white nationalist Christian conservative. And just like your stereotypical, like, you kind of like Trump, but don't actually know what he stands for and just like to be on the other side. I don't know if that makes sense. But being around these type of people, I just have realized, like, I've never lived in the Bible Belt before. I've never lived in a place where, yeah, like, my hometown was very religious. There's people I grew up with that are still extremely religious. The Bible quote in the bio, like, I think that's a pretty normal thing for a lot of towns. You're gonna have a lot of religious people because we live in a religious country. We don't really live in a secular nation, in my opinion. We want it to be one nation under Christianity. But that being said, sorry, I'm getting off topic here. I think that being around it so heavily has changed and swayed my opinion of it, because there was a moment where I was like, damn, like, these people must have all the answers to a lot of issues in life, because there's this couple I know, like, they are 10 out of 10 people. They are some of the kindest people I've ever met, genuinely understanding, respectful, like, even though they don't agree with you, they will still very, very, very deeply respect you and make sure that you are heard and feel valid in your opinion. I'll say that. But I remember talking to them because they picked me up from the airport one day, where I was like just kind of talking to them about life, and the way that they talk about life and the problems they face, they have such security that, like, they don't need to worry. Like, they're like, yeah, it's really scary, but God's got it. Like, it's gonna be okay because I know that God's got me. And I was like, damn, this makes me want to become Christian. Like, this makes me want to believe in the Christian God, because, again, I definitely believe in God, but I do not believe in God in the way that people see Christ and Jesus and praying to God up in the sky. Like, that is not how I see God at all. I've made a video about this before. But yeah, it just kind of like confused me, because I'm like, do all these people just have like the answers that I struggle with and stress out about all the time? Because I get really anxious and get very stressed out about the answers of life quite often. Like, I don't want to say I don't have peace, because that's definitely not true, but I choose to stress myself out about these things. Like, this is a very, I'm doing it to myself kind of thing. It's like, I like to stress myself out about this. I like to talk about this because it feels important to me, and it feels like I'm on the brink of talking about something new or something of the sorts, where I'm like, if I keep talking, I might be able to discover something. That's kind of how I feel about it. And yeah, so this is all just kind of like made me think about religion pretty deeply. But here in Austin, back to my original point, there's a lot of people who don't act very Christian. They do it because they have to. You have to be nice because you have to be. Is it really you acting out of love, or is it you acting because God loves you and you need to spread that love because that's the point of life? Like, it always feels like there's this ulterior motive to the way some people are acting. And I'm not saying this is all, like, and I should have put a disclaimer at the beginning of this video, is I don't disagree with, like, it's another thing that I can't really figure out, is like, if I think that religion is necessary to have a functioning society. This has been a really interesting thought in my head, and I've been writing a lot about it, and I don't know, like, I don't know what the solution would be if we were to get rid of religion. Fuck, god damn it. But yeah, it's just all been really making me think about the way people act, and if there's ulterior motives to the way people act. And I know, holy smokes, I know that there are people who are going to do things selfishly, whether that they care to admit it or not. But I think it's the way you go about it selfishly. Like, are you just being a selfish person, or are you being a selfish person to gain eternal bliss? And also, I feel like God would know too, if you're doing it just because you want to versus feeling it's necessary. Food for thought this morning. That's all I had to talk about, but something interesting I want to dive deeper into. I hope that I get a chance to really dive deep into this, because I think I'm really, like, genuinely really interested in theology. Like, I love, like, religion has been a hyperfixation topic for me for 7 years now. Like, I love thinking and talking about religion. I think it's so interesting. So yeah, I want to read the Bible too. I want to read the Bible so I have a better understanding of what I'm missing out on, because I don't know. All right, talk to you later, alligators.